Good afternoon. Very, very honored and privileged to be, I feel very honored and privileged to be here. When Jay called a few months back to ask me, before I even looked at my calendar, I said, yes, we'll figure this out. We'll figure this out because this is a group of people who are near and dear to my heart for a number of reasons, as you will shortly find out. But before I go any further, I think today is a very special day for a young lady in the audience by the name of Simone Mackey. Is she around? Today is her birthday, right? All right. Boy, this will be a very memorable birthday for her. I think that'll be the case. I first was acquainted with Vera about roughly a little over 2 years ago. Typically, I work for Gap and we have a campus in San Bruno, and we moved our campus to San Francisco. And every once in a while, I've been known to go out and grab something for lunch, to take a walk or what have you. And my assistant does it too. And she said to me one day, do you ever see these beautiful, sharp, brilliant young people out there walking around when you're out at lunch? And I said, you know what, I do. And they are greeting you, and they're professional, and they have briefcases. I wonder if there's a major university around here or something. And then I thought, nah, they wouldn't dress that nice at a university. And so we had that dialogue, and every so often I would see these great young folks out, and about 4 or 5 months later, one of my colleagues who's here, Tiffany, set up a meeting with me, and she said, you know, Keith, there's this great organization doing some fantastic things with young adults, and I would love for us to get involved with them. Can I have your support? I said, sounds great. I go, but where are they located? She said, that's the best thing. They're right across the street from our corporate headquarters. I said, wait a minute, this sounds familiar. And as I thought about it, I said, you know what? That's the group of young people I've seen when I'm out grabbing my lunch. And she said, yeah, it probably is. And lo and behold, they were. And I only tell you that background, and this is in particular for the students, whether you realize it or not, all eyes are on you every day, every minute, every second. One of the young ladies said that on the video. Everyone is always watching you. And for whatever reason, young adults, especially this group, at one point in time, I think were invisible, okay? And I know some of you know what that feels like. You show up to a concert, or you're walking around downtown, or you're in a meeting, or you're in school, and nobody notices who you are. No one recognizes that you bring something to the table, that you are valuable, that you have value to add. And I would say that they have, in a very short period of time, gone from being invisible to invincible. They are invincible. Let's give them a hand. So to the invincible, I would say, make sure from this day forward that you really represent yourself well at all times, that you represent your family well at all times, and that you also represent Year Up well at all times. You are going to be creating additional opportunities for them, so you want to be mindful of that. As I think about a lot of the accomplishments that the graduates have made over the last year, they remind me of what I like to affectionately call superheroes. Okay, and we all know and have favorite superheroes, and the definition of a superhero is a type of character possessing extraordinary or superhuman powers that they use for good. And if you only knew what these young ladies and men have gone through in the last year, you would definitely say they've earned that title as a superhero. Cotis and Gladys are examples of superheroes, as you saw them talk about their experience on the videos. All of these students were placed in internships that they had no idea existed. They had no idea they existed. And not only did they survive in these foreign environments, they thrived. They thrived, which is a lesson for them and a lesson for us all. Many of them barely knew how to turn on a computer, and now they're at a point where they have a skill set to write HTML coded language. That's computer programming language that I have no idea about and don't plan to learn. But they have mastered it, and I think that is just incredible. They were placed in corporate cultures that they never really not only knew existed, but it's difficult if you're not aware of a corporate culture how to function. And sometimes corporate cultures are like, you know, when you go there and the body's receiving a transplant, they reject certain organs and they can reject certain people. They didn't reject these people, okay? They showed that they earned every right to be there. And believe it or not, sooner or later, if you're not good at what you do, and if you don't really fit in, and if you don't have the knowledge and the credibility, you are found out. You are found out. And what they found out about these young people was that they were invincible. And the direct meaning of the word invincible means you can't be defeated. And I want you to remember that. You can't ever be defeated. Some of you are familiar with James Brown, right? I know the young people don't know who that is. But James Brown has a quote that I'm lifting from a song where he once said, "Open up the door and I'll get it myself." He didn't say it that clearly, though. But open up the door and I'll get it myself. And I'm here to proclaim today that the door is open. And you guys have the ability to get whatever it is you want. No limits, no boundaries, yourself, okay? Very important for you to remember. A lot of the audience, the students have heard my background, but a lot of the audience doesn't know, so bear with me, students. I was raised on the south side of Chicago, grew up in a very tough area, and I was told at a very early age that, yeah, you don't read that well, we need to put you in the slower reading group. And I didn't feel like I read that bad. You know what? College isn't for you. We don't think you should go to college. And I ended up not only receiving my bachelor's, but a master's degree. I was also told that I'd be good at, you know, working on cars. I was given a lot of can'ts. You can't do this, you can't do that. And thank goodness I ran into some people who had the same DNA as Year Up. And all they talked about was, you can, you will. And that's what we've seen these young people do over the last year. If you ever find yourself surrounded by people who continue to tell you what you can't do, those are people you don't need to be around. Those are people you don't need to have in your life. Today, yes. Today is the last day that will ever allow the word can't in our vocabulary. So you want to be around people who can, because you certainly can. Very important for you to remember that. I also want to say that not only can you do a lot if given the opportunity, but you can succeed in a great way if you're willing to work hard. You can learn if you're willing to just try and experiment and really give that extra effort. And you can also make change very possible. And today we're witnessing an incredible change, and I would say that you'll never ever be the same. Never ever be the same. And you have to remember that. You're breaking a cycle, and as you break that cycle, it's important for you to go forward with a memory that says, I used to not be able to do certain things, and a new memory that says I can do anything. Very important for you to understand that. The youth know that it really wouldn't be a Keith White message if I didn't quote Tupac, right? That's why they like me every Friday when I come to speak. You know, he kind of knows a little something, you know. Tupac, in the early 90s, wrote a song called Changes. And in that song, there's a number of lines that we could really learn from, because there's some social commentary going on. He writes, "I got love for my brother, but we can never go nowhere unless we share with each other. We got to start making changes." And in the last year, we saw your brothers and your sisters, in many cases who don't even look like you, show you a lot of love, a lot of care, a lot of support. So anytime you think that your help only comes from people who look like you, you're wrong. Help comes from a number of different sources. Your network is so wide when you open your eyes and you see all the different rainbows of support that comes to you. And when you receive that support, as Maya Angelou says, she has a great statement that says, when you learn, you teach. So now you have an obligation to share what you learn with others, to create a path for others to follow through, to help others as you go along, because you have these incredible gifts now. I just want to congratulate the class. Outstanding job. I have a chance to see you from time to time when I'm running back and forth, and I'm always impressed with all the great things you do, and I'm looking forward to hearing about all the wonderful successes you're going to have in your future, because I know it's bright. Thank you.